in because we are reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 3, and we in Denver. We still in cold Denver. But y'all, this week, is it just me? Or were y'all picking up on some big D energy from Orion? I said his name right this time. Orion, not Orion. Orion. Maybe the O stands for something, y'all. Maybe the O stands for something because I was picking up on some big D energy. I know he said he lived with his mama. I know he said he lived with his mama. But when you can tell people I don't like to be bossed around, but I live with my mama, I was like, woo, you're going to be something else. You're going to be something else, Orion. And I am picking up on some big D energy from Orion. And I'm also picking up on some cockiness from Brennan. Did y'all pick it up? Did y'all pick it up this episode? I picked it up. I picked up some cockiness from Brennan. And I'm not too sure about him and Emily. I'm thinking I'm going to end up putting them in the no column. I'm going to end up putting them in the no column. And I know we all thought it was going to be Emily who was going to be the problem. But you know who I think it's going to be? I think it might be Brennan. I think it might end up being Brennan. But let's go through these couples like I always do, one by one. Let's go through them. First, we got Lauren and Orion. I'm going to tell you right now, they're my front runners. They are my front runners. The first time I saw all their little quirkiness, I thought, you know what? Maybe they could make it. Maybe they could make it. And then when I saw them the second episode, I was like, ooh, I hope they're not going to be put in the friend zone. I hope they're not going to be put in the friend zone. But I don't think they are, y'all. I don't think they are. And I got better confirmation this week that makes me think they're not going to be in the friend zone. Now, I remember I saw a little bit of the part when Lauren was talking before she got married. Let me tell you why I really think that this marriage is going to work between Lauren and Orion. And I think it's going to work mainly because of Lauren. Lauren is going to be the stabilizing force. First of all, Lauren says she's 31, but I swear she's 41. Is it just me? Or does Lauren seem like she's 41 years old? Orion told me he don't like to be bossed around and he don't like no matriarchal family. Well, he got a mama. Lauren might be the closest thing to a mama you could get because Lauren kind of dresses a little bit older. She acts a little bit older. She's more mature. But I think that's going to help this relationship. I really, really do. I don't know if you guys heard it, but Lauren was one of the first people I've heard that says she's watched all seasons of Married at First Sight. All seasons. Lauren says she's watched all the seasons. So Lauren has come in here with a sober mind. She knows the trickery that the producers can do to try to throw you off guard with your mate. She knows the challenges they're going to throw at her. She knows the game. Lauren knows the game. And right now, Lauren is playing her cards really, really well. She really is. Lauren is very, very level-headed. Very, very, and like I told you before, the reason why I knew this whole cultural thing was going to work because Lauren has an inquisitive nature to her. And this episode, they did the indigenous dance. They did the indigenous ceremonial traditional dance, whatever you want to call it, with the drums. Orion started talking about he a grass dancer. And let me tell you, Lauren was sucking it up. She liked it all. She liked it. I'd be like, Lauren, I would be so fascinated by it. I would love to learn it myself. And that is the approach that Lauren is taking with this. She's already talking about the calm nature that Orion brings to her. She's talking about that calm spirit. I know, early, in the episode, she mentioned something about the mom spirit, but what she was talking about was the calmness of the spirit. I knew that's what she was talking about in the episode, and she further cleared it up in the after party as well, because she was on the after party, and she cleared it up, but I knew that's what she was talking about. And I'm going to say this about Lauren. I know Lauren is very heartbroken over the fact that her mother is not at this wedding, that her mother is no longer here, that her mother has passed away. But I'm going to tell you something. I want everybody to kind of hear this, because there's always these sort of blessings in disguise. I don't know if they're called blessings, but there are these bright spots when you have tragedy, especially when you lose a loved one like Lauren has, which is her mother. But I'm going to tell you right now where I already see how that is actually helping Lauren. When you are so close to a person like a mother or a father, okay, and that person plays such a prominent role in your life, and you lean on them a lot for advice, decisions, comfort, a lot of things, what that can make happen to you is you don't learn to depend on other people. Hear me out. When you have such a stabilizing force in your life, one that just kind of satisfies all your needs, like it's a one-shot pot. When she talks about her mother, it was like there was nothing she couldn't go to her mother about. There was nothing she couldn't talk to her mother about. There was nothing. There was no lacking. So as a result, Lauren doesn't really have to go to other people. She doesn't, because she's got it in her mother. And what that I can also do is I can also inhibit you from forming that same bond with another person. I talk about this with daddy's girls, right? But it really is the same concept. It's when you have overly bonded with one person, and as a result of that, it makes it harder for you to bond with a new mate or a new spouse. I often talk about this in dating. I talk about this in dating when you kind of keep people hanging around over here, but you really don't want to be with them. You really want to go out and find a new person, but you keep these hanger-oners. You know, you keep people who are love substitutes. I used to call them love substitutes. You really want love over here, but you keep ex-boyfriends. You keep guys who like you, but you don't like them. You keep male gay friends for a little bit of different kind of energy to keep you occupied, keep you busy until you find the guy you really want to be with. And these are love substitutes. What it actually does is it satisfies you enough over here, just enough, but it doesn't allow you to have that yearning you need. So when a person comes in, you don't necessarily gravitate towards them. You don't want to be thirsty, but you need to build up a hunger. You do. In relationships, you need to build up a hunger. That way, when people come into your life, you actually give them a chance, because you actually give them a chance. You really look at it. But sometimes people fill their lives with love substitutes, not the real thing. They got a whole lot of love substitutes. And what happens is you can become satisfied here, but you don't really reach your full enjoyment. And what it does is it holds you back from your real mate. Now, this is a little different from Lauren, but it's still the same concept, that sometimes when you're so close and you're so bonded to a person over here for all these needs, you don't tend to seek that in a mate, in a husband. That's why I tell people, be very careful about when you don't want to be with a guy still having his energy around you, still using him. Be very careful about having gay friends, male gay friends, as an interim step before you are able to get the man you want. Because although it may satisfy you temporarily, a lot of ways it's actually keeping you from really what you really need to do. You need to build up. Sometimes you need to feel that pain to know what you really want. And if you got love substitutes, sometimes you don't feel it. That's why I think it's a roundabout way of saying, I don't want to say it's good anybody loses their mother, but I really do believe it, y'all, that Lauren might not have been here if her mother was alive. Lauren might not have been here. I don't think she might not have felt the hunger she needed and the push she needed to step out and start seeking the love that she lost from her mother. And in fact, I think it's going to make her closer with her father. That's another thing I think it's going to do. It's actually going to make her close with her father, because she says her father is not her mother. Her father has a different style. But because her mother is gone, she's actually probably going to put more effort into bonding with her father, understanding her father, because it's all she's got now. It makes her work harder over there. And that's what I think it does in relationships. I believe Lauren might not have even been on Married at First Sight if it wasn't for her losing her mother. That's what I believe. I believe that if Lauren's mother was still here, she wouldn't start to feel that lack, that yearning, that hole in her, which would make her go out and seek someone to fill that hole. Hear me out. She had to experience the lack in order to move in a direction to fill that lack with someone else, which became a husband. And I think right now, Lauren is going to put all her effort into this marriage, and I'm counting on this marriage working, y'all. I'm counting on this marriage working, and I'm counting on Lauren is going to be the stabilizing force, and she's going to pull it through. She's actually going to be the one that has to settle down Orion when he gets up in that big D energy. Because remember, we heard that energy from Orion earlier when he was in the room talking about how big he is. Remember, y'all, when We heard the energy from Orion. We heard the energy. We saw it coming on with that daddy. That daddy was really trying to handle Orion. That daddy was trying to handle him. That daddy was trying to check him. But I'm going to tell you something. Orion might have worked with him, but Orion stood his ground. He sure did. He might have sat there and looked at that man, and he might have, he was respectful. He absolutely was respectful. But does anybody think that man changed Orion's mind? Nope, I don't. That daddy could talk all he wants. Orion, to me, has got some big D energy. And I think that's going to be good for Lauren. Because now Lauren won't look at this man and say, here is this calm demeanor man. This he's not frail, but he's on the thin side. And he doesn't walk with a big stomp. But a lot of people could think they can run over an Orion, but I don't think so. I don't think that people can run over an Orion. I think Orion walks around with a big D energy. I sure do. And he said he don't like no matriarchal family. He said he's tired of women bossing him around, but he said he lived with his mama. So he living in his mama house telling his mama, don't tell me what to do. I wonder, does Orion live with his mama because he's getting these tribal benefits? You know what? I met an indigenous person, and I didn't know how many benefits they get. At least here in California. In California, they get a lot of benefits from this land we done stolen from them. And they get a lot of money from these casinos. And the young lady that I met, she was a young lady, maybe about 24, 25 years old. She was getting $1,500 a month to help her supplement her rent. She got free health care, and her entire college was paid for. I wonder if Orion is staying with his mama because they're getting tribal benefits. I heard that, Orion. Get your benefits. Get your tribal benefits for indigenous people. I'm for it. I'm all for it. Then Orion sat there and said, yeah, when Lauren said I never dated nobody outside my race, he said, well, I ain't never dated nobody inside my race. Woo! Orion said, I dated a man. I ain't dated inside my race. I got big D energy. I do the hell what I want to do. And I'm loving it. I am loving these two together, and I'm telling you right now, they're my front runners for making it. They are my front runners for making it. At first, I was a little nervous when Orion talked about he was in school to be a real estate agent. I was like, oh, don't tell me he ain't got no job. Don't tell me all he's doing is living off tribal benefits and he ain't got no job. But then he said later on that he was a licensed electrician. And let me tell you, electricians make a lot of money. He's licensed in New York. He's licensed here. And he told that daddy, I want a house in New York and I want a house in Colorado. And when that father said, are you going to stay in Colorado? He said, I know. He said, not maybe. He said, no, I want 2 houses. So that means he's ambitious. He's at least ambitious. Okay, I'm good with it. Because when he was just telling me all he was studying for his real estate exam, I was like, oh my goodness, Orion, that ain't going to be enough money. That unless you're going to really, really hit it big, that's not going to be enough. But once he told me he got his electrician's license and he's handy, I was like, oh, you can make a lot of money as an electrician. Electricians make a lot of money. The only part I'm worried about with Lauren is because Lauren is very self-aware. She says she seeks validation. Lauren done had some therapy, y'all. This is what it looks like when you've had therapy. When you've had therapy, it doesn't mean that you are fixed. You know, people don't get fixed in therapy. It doesn't mean that you're fixed. But what you are able to do is you are able to recognize when you might be triggered, and therefore it can make you take a step back, and it can make you read the room a little bit more. So what Lauren said is she knows she needs a lot of external validation. She said that, which means now at least she'll be able to verbalize that to Orion. Because I'm telling you, with Orion's big D energy, I can kind of see how he might rub a person the wrong way. I can see it coming already. And if she needs a lot of external validation, we saw some clips where she's crying. I can imagine those are going to be the moments when she needs more validation and Orion is walking around with that big D energy, and they're going to need to learn how to round that out. She's going to need to come up a little bit in her confidence, and then he's going to learn how to treat her a little bit differently, maybe in the words that he chooses. But that's what I see the work may be with these two going on because of the maturity of Lauren, because Lauren knows what this is all about. I really have a good feeling about these two, that they're going to balance each other out, that they have a healthy curiosity about each other, and that what I learned from Orion is he didn't really want to marry anyone just like him, because I think Orion is curious too. And I think he likes the idea of being with something different. That's why he tried out or dating a guy. That's why he said he's never dated anyone even in his race. He likes the idea of something different. He's curious himself. And I think the curiosity that these both two have is going to make a really, really good energy. Another couple I'm really high on, y'all. Another couple I'm going to say I think is going to be Becca and Austin. I'm liking that their quirkiness together is working well because I think Austin has a lot of patience, or he's just going to be slow and he don't care and he's going to let Becca do everything, because right now Becca is bossy as hell. Becky was bossing everybody around in those pictures. I know she's a wedding photographer, but she was bossing everybody around. She bosses people around. But what I haven't seen from Austin is that he doesn't like it. Hear me out. I haven't seen from Austin that he doesn't like to be bossed around. There's something about Austin where he's okay with it. Now, Becca might need to dial it back. She may get up underneath his skin a couple of times or two. We'll see how far she can go. But you know the vibes I'm getting from these two right now? I'm getting the vibes from Becca and Austin that I got last year with Nicole. And what was Nicole's husband's name? I forgot what his name was already. Anyway, Nicole from last year with her husband, the bossiness of Nicole, and how he was able to deal with it and say things when he needed to. That's the vibe I'm picking up from Austin and Becky. Becky's absolutely bossy. She bossy, all right. She talking about, what do you do with your new husband? Make out, make out. Girl, you gonna bust a stitch. You gonna bust your stitches. Girl, you ain't making out. You ain't making out with nobody. You just had surgery. You over here talking a big old game, writing checks you can't cash, talking about, oh, make out with your husband, do this. Girl, it ain't gonna go nowhere. It ain't gonna go nowhere because you're gonna bust open your stitches. But you know what? Even that's gonna work out, y'all. Because I was saying, how you gonna get married and you just had abdominal surgery with stitches in your belly? How you gonna perform in the bedroom? How you gonna get your wild thing on? But come to find out, Austin wants to take it slow, y'all. Austin really wants to take it slow. So it actually is gonna work out. She gonna get to keep her stitches intact. She ain't gotta do much, right? And Austin's gonna get to take it slow. And Austin's gonna get to use as the excuse for taking it slow the fact that she got stitches in her body. Look at that. Look at God, y'all. Look at God. It looks like it's going to work out. And like Austin said, all he really wants to do on his honeymoon is sit up in the bed and play Nintendo 64. Woo! I'm telling you, Becca better hope that when the stitches does come out, he want to make love to her. Because right now he says, I'm cool. I'm cool with sitting in the bed playing Nintendo 64. You heard what that roommate said. You heard what the roommate said. She didn't want him. That roommate does not want Austin. The only thing she wanted Austin for was to take out the trash. So we're going to figure out why that roommate didn't want Austin. There's something in there where she said, you can have him. You can have him. But I'm going to tell you the two couples I'm not really keen on. I don't think it's going to make it is Emily and Brennan. And I thought it was going to be because of Emily, because I thought Emily was going to be a drunk. I thought she was going to be a party girl. I still think she is. I think she's a party girl. I think she's a drunk. But let me tell you the side I saw of Emily this episode. That when Emily wants to talk straight, she knows how to do it. She knows how to do it. She actually knows how to have a conversation, speak intelligently, ask the right questions, because she did it with Brennan's friends. She did it with Brennan's friends, and she actually was asking some good questions. She was actually as truthful as she was, as blunt as she was, even though I don't believe some of the answers she gave. I didn't think that she should say some of those things. When she started talking about, I ain't never been in a relationship, but I've had hookups. Girl, why you out here promoting yourself as a hookup girl? That ain't something you tell your new husband or your new husband's best friends, that all you have is a bunch of hookups. She definitely ain't got no dating experience because she don't know the right words to use. But she's blunt. She's straightforward. She knows how to have a conversation. She's a party girl. I do think she likes to drink a lot. A lot. Now, when she's sober, maybe she can have a good conversation, but I guess maybe the problem is going to be keeping her sober. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you this. I think one of the bigger problems is going to be Brennan. I think Brennan has a little bit of cockiness in him. And let me tell you where I picked up on it. When they were sitting at that table and Brennan asked Emily, what kind of car does she drive? It triggered me. And all the questions, what kind of car do you drive, which told me that's important to him. And it also told me he was using that to size her up in some kind of way. I believe so. She says, oh, I have a Jeep. He said, a Jeep? And she said, well, what do you have? He says, I have an Audi A4. And let me tell you, I'm a car person. I'm a car person. So I know what cars say about people. And what he said was he has an Audi A4. Let me tell you, I think Brennan has a little bit of cockiness. When they were walking outside and he was asking Emily, what do you think about my ankle tuxedo? What do you think about my outfit? Brennan is into, not I won't call him materialistic all the way. He's somewhat materialistic. I am going to say that. He's in the image. He's into image. And if Emily walks around drunk all the time, he ain't going to like Emily. He ain't going to like her. And I'm going to tell you what, he's Russian. Russians are straight shooters. The men are. The women are too. A lot of them straight shooters. And I don't think he's going to hold his tongue. When he don't like it, he's going to hold his tongue. He's not going to hold his tongue. When them girlfriends were telling him, what do you think about her being, never having a relationship? He didn't say nothing there, but his facial expression said everything. Everything. He was staying on his P's and Q's for this wedding. But I'm going to tell you, in the back of his mind, Brennan got some thoughts. Brennan got some thoughts in the back of his mind. And I'm going to tell you, I think he might look down on Emily. That's what I'm kind of feeling. I ain't got it all the way together, my whole prediction. But right now, I feel as if Brennan is sizing up Emily. And I think he might come to the conclusion that he's better than Emily. Something about it is making me start to believe that, y'all. A lot of his friends said one of the things that broke him up in past relationships was that he wasn't a good communicator. He wasn't calling women, texting women. That's what the women complained about. That's showing somebody like, I don't care, I ain't texting you, I ain't calling you. He's cocky. I don't know. That's what I'm getting. Those are the vibes I'm getting. And her friend said that she got a short fuse. That's what she said. She's intolerant. She already told people, listen, I don't have no boyfriend now because I can't get one. Because she's a good looking girl. She could have got a boyfriend. What she's saying is, I don't tolerate people and I don't change for people. That's why, she go out on a couple of dates and then don't nobody want to go out with her no more. Or she says she don't want to go out with no one because she's not changing. I think these two gonna butt heads. I'm thinking Brennan and Emily. Gonna butt heads. He's cocky. He's gonna have a strong sense of confidence in him, and she's not gonna be able to run over him. She's not gonna be able to twist him around and do what she want to do. And then he gonna be using some words to put her down. That's what he's gonna do. I think these two are gonna be explosive. When we start talking about the couple that's gonna be explosive, I think it's gonna be Emily and Brennan. I think it's gonna be a lot of fussing and fighting going on with them. And the other couple I'm saying is not gonna make it is Claire and Cameron. I know y'all. I know they try to make it seem as if Claire and Cameron gonna get along, talking about they understand each other. But nah, you know why I say it's not gonna work? Because of Claire's family, and she come from that family. Them sisters, let me tell you, I didn't like them sisters. I didn't like the things they were saying. I didn't like the things that they were doing. And the fact that Claire co-signs on it, that means she got it in her too. And all those opinions that mama got, that sister got, Claire got them too. She's just not saying it. And eventually it's going to come out on Cameron. And like I said, I don't think Cameron takes life so seriously. All this joking around, I think he's cavalier. I'm going to go back to what I said. I don't think Cameron has a lot of money. Everybody kept saying, oh, well, he owns a bike shop. He can make a lot of money in Colorado owning a bike shop. That's if you selling bikes, because bikes are expensive. Bikes are $4,000. But we heard on this episode that he fixes bikes. I didn't hear nothing about selling no bikes. I heard he fixes them. I think Cameron's a low performer. I do. And I think a Claire ain't going to go for that. Claire ain't going to go for it. And I don't even see anything that they have in common. He says he likes to ride bikes, likes the outdoor. Claire ain't for none of that. Claire, the girl who want to go to brunch. She want to go to brunch. She got her a degree in she's a therapist. She's over here. Cameron's the jokester outside riding the bikes. And you know what he said? That's okay if you don't want to ride no bikes. I'll go without you. Cameron's a lone ranger. He done moved all the way out here from New Zealand on his own. He didn't have no family come out here. His mama didn't come. His brother didn't come. He said, I'm going to get married without you guys. Sure, I got this extended family. Anybody else would have been like, I'm getting married. Y'all need to fly out here. Y'all need to fly out here from New Zealand. Cameron said, that's okay. I can do it on my own. Cameron's a lone ranger. He told Claire, that's okay if you don't want to do it. I'll do it myself. And then she was over here talking about, yeah, I think most of the time I attract men who are real clingy, real clingy. And he said, yeah, you look like that type. She gonna be in for a wild ride because Cameron ain't gonna be clinging to her. Cameron is not gonna be trying to cling to her. Cameron's independent. And then she not gonna know what to deal with it. She talks about she attracts codependence because that's what she wants. She wants a codependent. That's what she wants. Talking about she attracts them. That's what she wants. She wants them to be all up on her, worship her, but then she get mad at them because they probably don't do what she say. They gonna have problems. Claire and Cameron are gonna have problems. That's what I'm predicting. That's my predictions, y'all. That's my predictions. That's what I got so far from episodes 1, 2, and 3. But I reserve the right to change my opinion as these episodes go along. I reserve the right to change my opinion. But right now, that's what I'm going with. Anyway, that's it, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.